What up, Wastelanders? Christopher here at Gaslands NorCal. Thanks for joining me once again for another creation video. That's right, we're going to do another terrain build, but we're going to do something a little bit different this time. We're going to compare and contrast two different methods for creating some scatter terrain, specifically sheds. I've got this 3D printed messed up shed that I printed off a few days ago. I've also got, I'm not going to call it a trash bash, I mean it's a box, but it's also some stuff that you wouldn't necessarily have hanging around the house, like some foam that you probably, well, if you're like remodeling or something, maybe. But yeah, so it's not really trash bash, but it's more just crafting as opposed to 3D printing. Gonna make these other pieces of foam look like this brick wall. You've probably seen that in some of my glamour shots from my vehicles and everything else. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're also gonna do a giveaway, so stick around to the end so you can see what that's all about. But first, let's get to crafting. Alright, so first off, let's get going on the one we're going to put together and not just print. I've got the box here that we can use for the base. I find it easier to actually use a box rather than just try to put the foam together, because the foam won't have anything to really adhere to, and plus it'd be a lot flimsier if you just putting four sides together as opposed to putting them on the box. We also have a base here, yes, from Dungeon Crate. Subscribers to them, they do a lot of really cool stuff, so if you need D&D stuff or stuff like that, check them out. Their boxes also make really good cardboard for the bases. So we're going to get it lined up right with the lines on there, and so we'll have a little bit of a entryway. And then, yeah, we're going to get it all hot glued down so it'll stick. And keep in mind, hot glue is very hot, can burn you, so be careful when you're doing that. So yeah, let's get this all hot glued down, and then we will start taking a look at what we need to do to get the walls and stuff on there. Got some pretty cool ideas for what we're going to put out front and what we're going to do at the top and everything. So yeah, let's get this hot glued, and then we'll move on to the next step. Let's get it done. Now, as the box is cooling, well, as the glue is cooling on the box and the base, we're going to do the side walls. Well, do them in the brick texture. I've already got the other ones, some other ones done from before, so we just need to do two of the walls. And a long time ago, I found this roller, this for making terrain and stuff, just in the smaller brick. And I honestly don't know where I found it. I'm sure you could find all sorts of other terrain rollers all over the internet now, whether it's on Etsy, Thingiverse, whatever it is. But luckily, it's going to be pretty much exactly the width that I need for this foam. I've got this dowel to press it down, because that's one of the things with these texture rollers. When you're using this kind of foam, you really have to exert some effort and put your back into it to make the indentations and everything look good on these. So we're going to get the foam indented, and then first off, I'm going to paint it up with the dark ivory from Monument Hobby Pro Acryl. This is going to give it the grout coloring on the inside. After that dries, we're going to do some dry brushing. I'm going to dry brush some of the orange red and some of the red oxide, and that's going to give it the brick coloring. And it should look pretty much like the other ones. That's why we're going to do like the front and back, so it's not all, you know, contrasting and everything. And then we're going to get the sides glued on, and then we're going to take a look at how we're going to do the top and get the corners and everything done. But yeah, I think it's going to look pretty cool, especially for just some pieces of foam and a light bulb box and a piece of cardboard. But yeah, then we will work on the 3D printed one. Got some other stuff printing off right now to add the little bits and pieces to it, so it should look pretty cool. But yeah, let's get the foam all indented and painted, and then we will start getting some brick on there. Let's brick it up. So the brick walls rather, are all formed up, ready to go. So we're going to get those on the box. You'll notice that there is a difference between the two that I made before and the two I just made. That's because of the color of the foam, or the foam core, whatever is different. So that's going to have a big effect on how they turn out. They still look like bricks and stuff. We'll just say it's north and south facing, and that's why it's faded more. That works for me. So let's get the brick on the sides and then on the front, and then we will start working on the roof and get some texturing down on the base. So yeah, let's get those done. Alright, so the walls are all on there. I used some aluminum tape to seal up the sides, just so you can see that the seams and everything else. Basically, I'm going to use the lines. Obviously, I'm not going to keep them the aluminum color. I'm just going to use those as lines for guides to paint the aluminum more of a tan color, so it matches kind of the grout and everything else to kind of cover that up. Then we're going to get the roof on there. Got some more foam I'm going to put on top there, and I'm going to use some concrete from Monument Hobbies Pro Acryl, extra fine for the base. And I've got this gray earth, this coarse gray earth. So I'm gonna put over the top of it like the old roofing style, this black stuff they used to slather on the top of roofs and stuff. I'm gonna cover the roof, the top of that, and make it look all cool. And then I got some other ideas for the doors, get some windows and stuff on there, throw some graffiti on there, make it look all weathered and everything else. So yeah. Let's get the roof on there, and then we will start slathering up the base and the top of it. So let's get that portion done. Alright, so the roof is all on there. Still a little dark for me. Going to dry brush this, but it's got the crunchy texture like you used to see in all the old roof housing projects and stuff. Got the concrete down on the base. Did a little car here. This is a 3D print. I'll put a link to where I got this in the description. Maybe rust it up a little bit. Had some ideas for the door and for some windows and stuff, and then some stuff I'm going to put on the top there. But yeah, looking really cool. The windows and the doors, it's going to be kind of an interesting process. We'll see how it's going to go. What I'm going to do is going to take the same aluminum tape, and I have a little frame, and I'm going to put the tape on the building and then put the frame around it. So you can see that. So it's going to look like either glass or see-through or mirrored or something. So we'll see how that turns out. That's the idea I have. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, looking really good so far. I love how that car is turning out. I'm going to weather everything else. Add some graffiti, of course, and then we'll see where we're at. But looking good so far. Let's get some doors and windows. Alright, so I got the front, or the top all weathered, the front kind of weathered, the doors and windows on, looking pretty cool. I like how that turned out, front there. Not really digging on just an open doorway, since it's supposed to be kind of a ruined building and stuff. We're going to add the weathering and everything else as we go along. So I want to board it up. So I took some popsicle sticks, broke them up, did some weathering on them. You can't see that because of the light. So I'm going to put those over the doorway just so it's like it's been boarded up, and yeah, should turn out pretty cool. So we're going to do that, and then we'll see where we're at. Got some other things we're going to add to the front and to the top, like somebody squatting up there, and then do some more weathering and stuff on the sides, add some graffiti, and then this thing will be good. We'll get to work on the 3D bit. So yeah, let's board it up. Alright, doorway is all boarded up. I'm going to weather a little more. The boards don't look as weathered as I want them to be. Really going to weather up the whole thing. Put some graffiti and stuff on there as well. So that's what we're going to do next before we start getting to some of the final touches on there. I've got some stuff I'm going to put on the top, like somebody's been up there camping out or whatever. They're going to have an access point, which I'll show you here in a bit. But first, let's get some graffiti and everything on there. But yeah, this thing is coming together really, really well. I'm liking it. It's going to look awesome on the table. May use it this weekend. But yeah, let's get some graffiti going. got the weathering done. Got all the drips and everything on there, looking very cool. Got the graffiti and stuff on there. I got a few more final touches that I'm going to do before I call this one good, and we move on over to the 3D printed one. So you got the ladder up there. The 3D printed one is going to go a lot quicker. I'm not going to do as much detail on it. I'm not even going to base it just because I don't need to. The only reason I based this one is because it was, you know, a cardboard box, or a very flimsy cardboard box. So one of the different contrasting things that you do with 3D printed as opposed to crafted one. So let's get the final touches on this one, and then we will slide on over to the 3D printed one, and we'll show you all how it goes. And yeah, I think I already know which one I'm going to like better so far. Looking good. Alright, here we have the 3D printed shed. First off, you can see that it's not to scale for like Wastelands. It's going to be way too big, but it'll work for any other tabletop game, role-playing game, whether you can do Fallout, maybe some Kill Team, something like that. But we're going to get it all weathered up and done up so it looks pretty cool. Also, you can tell that the 3D print, it did kind of screw up on several areas. Since it's going to be all a messed up shed, I'm really not that concerned about it. Even on the inside, I'm not sure if you can see that, the roof and stuff is all screwed up, which kind of looks like what a roof would look like if it was falling down after being outside in the weather and everything. So we're going to start getting this thing printed or painted. I'm going to get the sides painted kind of a khaki, so it's more like just a, you know, Adobe or something, I don't know. And then we'll get the window sills and the door frames painted up in wood. And then I'm going to get the top, obviously, since it's corrugated, printed up with metal and stuff. We'll get all of that rusted and everything. Going to just kind of stain the inside of the floor and stuff. But yeah, it should be a much easier project to get done. So let's get to it. Alright, 3D printed shed all painted up. Got the corrugated roof and everything done as well. Got the inside stained kind of muddy brown. I'm going to go over everything with some sepia wash just to give it a little bit more color, a little more texture. Well, not really texture, but a little more color, more weathering, I guess. And then we'll start moving on and doing some of the detail stuff, like doing some rust and stuff on the roof. Got some pretty cool stuff to stick on the inside so it's not all empty. Maybe even stick a ladder on there like the other one. But yeah. For the time it takes and everything else, if you were in a pinch, this would probably be faster depending on how long it's going to take you to print. This thing actually took me like 8 hours to print. It is very solid, so not like the crafted one at all. This will stand the test of time. You could probably run over it with a small vehicle and hurt your vehicle. So let's get this thing washed up in some sepia, and then we'll see where we're at and start doing some rusting. Alright, so the shed is all weathered up. Looks pretty good with the sepia. I like how those streaks and stuff, kind of very much the direction I was going for. As you can see, I got the top painted for that I did before, and I used some of this typhus corrosion that works really, really well when you're doing rust and stuff. So got the typhus on there, and then I'm going to dust it up, or dry brush it with the ammo dry brush rust, and that'll give it a more of a rusty look, obviously. And then I'll probably hit it with a little bit more of the Vallejo rust just to make it really, really crusty. Then I got some things I'm going to put on the inside to make it look cool and stuff. As far as doing more weathering, I'll probably use some of the mud or dirt splatter effect around the edges to make it just look like a muddy shack. But yeah, looking really good. This one, obviously, like I said, was going much, much quicker than the last one. But yeah, this will look good on any tabletop. So let's get it rusted. And there we have it, 2 Wasteland sheds handmade, lovingly detailed, ready for the Wastelands table. Now, to compare and contrast the two, like I said, the 3D printed shed, while the detailing took a lot less time, it did take like 8 hours to print, but I did that overnight. The handmade one, as you can see, obviously has a lot more detail into it because we were able to pick and choose what we wanted on there. Now, the 3D printed model, like I said, it was free, so it didn't cost anything. Also, the handmade one, it didn't really cost a whole lot. It was mostly stuff I had lying around. So the time is different, the materials are different, the details are obviously different. The scale, when you're doing the handmade one, you get to really choose and get exact on the kind of scale you want. If you're a 3D printing guru and really good at scaling, you can do that with the 3D models as well. I'm not, so this one came out a little too big for Gaslands. But all in all, I think they both look really good. If you enjoyed this video, you learned something, do me a favor and hit that like button. My goal is to do weekly videos, whether they're vehicle builds, terrain builds, battle reports, whatever. So if that's for you, hit the sub button below and ring the bell to get notified when new content drops. I do sell all my builds pretty inexpensively on my Etsy page, so if you want to pick something up, see what else I've done, you can request a custom build. If you'd really like to help out and show some love, head on over to my Patreon page and get signed up. Every bit helps the paint flow, the print, and the camera roll. Until next time, keep your foot on the gas and your finger on the trigger. Gaslands NorCal, signing out. Whoa, we forgot about the giveaway. If you want to be entered in a contest to win one of these two sheds, make sure you're a subscriber, like the video, leave me a comment if you're feeling really up to it. Leave me a comment on why you liked the one you liked. And if you get picked, then I will send the one you like to you. So get some comments going, let's get some dialogue, and I will see you in the Wastelands.